Good afternoon, and I want to thank everybody for introducing me here. Gordon Plume, my husband and I own the GR Plume Company, and we are an architectural millwork company here in Ferndale, and we specialize in exposed timber construction. I was asked to join the board of the Northwest Workforce Development Council about a year ago, and I had no idea the importance and significance of the work that they did, and I was completely overwhelmed by my commitment. I spent the first year going to meetings desperately trying to understand the acronyms UIP, NBA, UIPA, and the terminology. I pretty much understand pipeline now. I'm still a little fuzzy on cluster and on dashboard. But this is a very grown-up board, and they do very significant work. And their purpose is to determine the future family wage jobs, where they're going to be, and how do we find and prepare people for those jobs. And frankly, I really wasn't sure how I could effectively contribute to this. I knew about career camps because Rafika had brought one to our we hosted one at our shop a couple of years ago. But I also know that the best way to decide if you like a line of work is to get out, get dirty, and get tired. Also, I am a gardener, fanatical in fact. If there was a Gardeners Anonymous, my family would hold an intervention and make me go to meetings. So when I read the article in the Bellingham Herald about the Ferndale Community Garden and about their needs and structures, I knew that this might be a good place for me to start. I contacted Andrea and let her know that we had a part-completed little timber structure here that we had built a few years back for the Linden Home and Garden Show. And that with a little bit of work, foundation, a roof, a lot of labor, that it might make a really nice resting place for the community garden. She did all the legwork. She contacted the mayor, she contacted the Heritage Society, worked with the Parks Department, and she got us the go-ahead. I then called upon our friends and associates in the building trades and asked them to help with the execution, foundation, and roof. It actually was a pretty easy sell, because all the trades understand very clearly how important it is to have a good, viable workforce and in our industry. So we know youth is our future, and this was a career camp for youth. So from my perspective, teaching the kids the joy of building something, working with timbers, and being in the garden couldn't get any sweeter than that. So here we are. I'd like to tell you the number of people that helped me do this. First off, I want to thank Scott Carlson, who is over here somewhere in Mr. Pictures, with Snow Carlson Builders. He helped with the execution, the organization, and I really couldn't have done it without him. We brought in Brian McFarland from McFarland Construction, and he brought his heavy excavator and dug our foundation. Chad from CNC Concrete brought his forming equipment, formed and poured, and Scott and he finished the slab. Keith Corthus of Ferndale Ready Mix provided the concrete. Dick Campbell from Bellingham Millwork donated our pine ceiling. Sarah Rothenbuehler from Birch Equipment donated the rental of the lift and of the generator. Dave Hofford of Angar donated the metal roofing, provided us with a whole lot of instruction last Friday as we kept calling him saying, where do we start? Tell me again, what do we do? And Angar is going to be kind enough to come out and finish out the parts that we left undone. Gordon Plume, my business partner and loving and patient husband, did the original design work and fabricated this recycled wood into this pavilion and spent the day on the tractor here on Friday, hauling and leveling and bringing all the chips in, which were donated by the Ferndale Parks Department. He also kindly relinquished his superintendent, Ron, to me for 3 days. Ron, our superintendent, which is here over here. With the kids for 3 days, 1 day at our shop and 2 here on site. Gordon and Scott worked along with him also, physically working, managing, directing, and keeping everyone safe. Anne Marie and Bonnie, a workforce, were a great camp counselors and kept everyone on task. As Andrea mentioned, Tom from Eckert from BTC was kind enough to donate the structure here through Margaret Curtis, who was the owner. He facilitated that. At the shop, the kids got to use pneumatic sanders, they got to apply finish, they moved the heavy timbers around on the carts, and they had a real work day in a true shop setting. They had lunch with the crew, and they asked lots of questions. They were on site here for 2 days, and they learned about drilling anchor bolts, In the concrete pad, they set the all thread. They learned how to use the lift to set the trusses in place. They used the nail gun. They were up on ladders. Everyone used the tools. They put down the roofing felt. They also helped lay down all the recycled hemp bags from Tony's Coffee that's under this. Gordon hauled in on the tractor all these chips. The kids spread them. The kids experienced the frustrations of construction, equipment that didn't work very well, things that were brought in that were incorrect and they had to wait. So they really got a first-hand experience of what it's like to work into the trade. In addition, the Parks Department gave us a nice donation, which they know nothing about, is that Gordon took them over and let them use the tractor and play in the big pile of chips over there, so every one of them got to run the tractor. They got to go to Stellar Industrial over here on La Bounty for their annual barbecue, which is only open to the trades and to their vendors. Stellar was kind enough to let us bring the kids there. They spoke with one of the salesmen there. We sat them down, told them what it would be to work there, what they needed. They got to look at all the big boy tools. And so they pretty much had, I hope, a very, very fun experience. We know that this experience only provides a little taste of manufacturing and of construction, but we hope it will give them an opportunity to have a better understanding of the physical world and that they may be able to make an informed choice about what kind of industry they want to go into. We hope they look at the trades as a choice. We know that they're solid, satisfying, high-wage jobs, and we hope that they consider that. On a final note, one of the participants is not here today in camp, Michael Meyer, as he shipped out yesterday to Marine Basic Training in Camp Pendleton. He plans to become an MP and hopes to attend Officers Candidate course. We want to personally thank him for working on the pavilion and, more importantly, for his choice to take on a difficult job in a challenging time, and we wish him Godspeed. And now I'd like to ask Mayor Jensen to pass out the certificates to the kids.